So the question of what are the top three influences for a teenager? I was telling our group that I sat down and met with a teenager today and asked him this very question, and very quickly what he came up with, family being number one, friends, and then he mentioned YouTube, but we kind of talked about social media there as those are three of his top influences in his life. Family being that number one there with it.
And so, from my perspective, Chris, I completely agree with you. I don't know that I can add much. I think family and friends and social media all play a huge role in the life of young people. I think family, for good or for ill, influence young people, whether it's they aspire to be like what their parents are, or they aspire to not be like what their parents are. That's probably the top influencer based on a lot of factors, but they do spend a ton of time there, and so they have the lion's share of influence. And then followed by friends and obviously social media, because you get that little hit of dopamine when you kind of look at social media. So that's what I would say.
Yeah, I would have to agree with Chris in that top three influences for teenagers nowadays would be family, friends, and social media. Uh, when we discuss where we would place, family, I put that last. But when I listen to my peers talking about it, yeah, I would think that the most influential thing is the family, whether it's positive or negative. The reason why many teenagers go towards finding, their belonging with friends or social media is because within the family they're not able to receive that. So I think the most important cultural influence that we need to be focused on is the family. And to add a fourth one for the top three influence, I would say education system. We discussed that today. Cade mentioned that, and I would have to agree with that. That my top four would be family, friends, social media, and the education system.
Yeah, and so I agree totally. Like you said, the other one that we put on the list was education. Just, family is number one, for good or for ill. Matt mentioned that. That's helpful. Just because, as he said, they get the lion's share. They have the most amount of time and influence over their student. School's probably second on that list for the amount of time they have shaping a child. And they're giving them a worldview, good, bad, or indifferent. They're giving them a worldview, and they're inheriting that worldview, and they listen to their teachers, and they're seen as resident experts on fill in the blank. And so certainly they're shaping influences in the life of a child or a teenager.